Hey Canucks fans, when it comes to Brock Boeser's contract, what do you think the main holdup is? Is it money? Is it term? Is it a bit of both? Or is it the fact that they're waiting to see what other high-profile RFAs sign for? I'm Clay Emo. I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clay Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Friday, August the 30th. I want to talk about Brock Boeser's contract, the fact that it's not signed yet, and I'll say right off the bat that no, I'm not worried. Even though this, I think the fourth video I've made about it in the past 2 months, truly, I'm not worried. We see the big seven, or there's at least more than seven, but I think of guys like Rantanen and Point and Marner and Kachuk and Connor and Laine and Boeser. So those are the seven I think of. There's others too. But there are a lot of high-profile RFAs that haven't been signed yet. And I'm sure there are a lot of factors. It's kind of a waiting game. Maybe they're waiting to see what one guy signs for, and the dominoes will fall from there. Obviously, a lot of teams like the Canucks working through some salary cap issues. So I'm not worried. Brock Boeser wants to play in Vancouver. Obviously, Vancouver wants Brock Boeser to play here. So I'm not worried in the slightest, quite frankly. I really not. And I always harken back to Bo Horvat signing his contract not until mid-September 2 years ago in September 2017. So it's not unprecedented that a major star for the Canucks waits to sign his second contract. So I'm not worried. Also, I want to draw attention to a beautiful article that Michael Russo wrote in The Athletic today about Brock Boeser's family, and in particular the health struggles of his dad, Duke. And we know the whole family's had it rough, but for Duke in particular, diagnosed with Parkinson's, then he got into a bad car accident, then he had some, I think it was lung cancer or some form of cancer, and then he suffered a massive heart failure back in July, and it been on a feeding tube ever since, but slowly making some good progress. And Michael Russo outlines that in a wonderful article in The Athletic. I'll link to it down below for those of you that subscribe. But a part of that, so on one hand, it's good that no, not on one hand. The big picture is he talks about how Brock Boeser and his mom Lori and has been by Duke's side throughout the summer, and Boeser has been really appreciative of the prayers and the messages from fans, from family, from hanging out with friends, all those things to get through this tough time. And he admits it hasn't been an easy time this summer. So Boeser has been with his dad and his mom, which is really, really good to hear. But then you look at the business side, or the professional side, so to speak, and we know that Brock Boeser isn't signed yet. And right in the article, Michael Russo makes a point that Boeser's agent met with Jim Benning, or talked with Jim Benning, as recently as this past Wednesday, and the two sides are far apart from signing on a new deal. So that's not very comforting to hear for Canucks fans. Like I said, it doesn't worry me that much. I'm not worried. I know it will get done. It's just a matter of when, and of course how much and for how long, which I'll get to in a second. But that article is kind of strange. It put things in perspective a little bit for me from a standpoint of I care, but it doesn't matter to me that this is taking so long because of family first, right? Because of the struggles they're going through. Boeser is going to be playing hockey for many, many years, another 15, 20 years if everything holds up well, right? If he stays healthy, at least another 15 years to get to the mid-30s, so to speak. But then for his dad, Duke, if the time's limited with him, you kind of want Boeser to be focusing on him. But I can't imagine how tough it is as he's focusing on his family, as he should, yet he's got this contract situation looming. And I know it's not just him, it's his agent. That's why you hire an agent to do these kind of things. But it can't be an easy time for Boeser. And I think that's the main point I want to get out of this video, is not so much, how come Boeser's not signed, or we're hooped, or whatever it is, or how come he's being greedy, or why aren't the Canucks being as generous? No, I'm not worried about any of that kind of thing today. After reading this article more and more, I want to pray for Brock and his family, but especially pray for his father Duke as he battles this latest setback and this latest hurdle in his health. But we do got to talk about business a little bit, because this is a Vancouver Canucks vlog. And when you hear that the Canucks and the agent are far apart on a deal, you got to wonder, is it money, or is it term, or is it a bit of both? About a year and a half ago, I was saying, we got to get him Boeser for 6 or 7 years at 6 years per. And then as recently as last year, I was starting to say, no, it might be more closer to $7 million a year as we see salaries go up and up. But I was still thinking, 7 years at 6 or 7 years. And now recently, as you know, I've talked about this a couple times before, including using Timo Myers with San Jose with his contract as a comparable. Maybe they're looking at a 4-year deal, a shorter deal at that $7 million amount. And who knows, all Canucks fans and people like me, vloggers, are saying 7 million, nothing less than that, or barely, maybe 6.5 at the very, very least, but 7 million. But not a lot of people are talking about more than that. What happens if Boeser's camp wants 7.5 or 8 million? Maybe that's the stumbling point. Maybe they want, and Boeser says in the article that all he wants is a fair deal. And he gets that there's salary cap implications, and he gets that there's a lot of things going on. So it's good he's mature enough to realize that, either through himself or through the agent as well, or a combination of both. But maybe, just maybe Boeser's camp is asking for way more than 7 million, and that's why the Canucks are kind of balking at it, or trying to move them down from. Maybe Boeser's asking for a 7.5 or 8, as opposed to the 7 that we Canucks fans think he is worth, and that would be a fair deal, constitute a fair deal. Or maybe it's the term. Maybe the Canucks want him to lock in, or actually, who knows? Maybe the Canucks want to sign him long term and get a couple of years of his free agency out of the way, or maybe they want a shorter term. Or maybe Brock's the one who wants a shorter term so he has more flexibility. Or maybe Brock's the one who wants a longer term. It's so hard to say because, to their credit, they haven't really negotiated through the media, which is good. That's how things can turn ugly real quick. So we haven't heard a lot. We've just been speculating about this number, about 7 million, and then different terms, all the way from as low as 4 years all the way up to 6 or 7 years. So I asked you guys, I'm not an expert, I don't know. I've always said that I would love it to be 4 years at $7 million per year. And then, like the Timo Meier deal, then you qualify Boeser, depending on how your contract is set up. If the contract's set up where it's a $10 or $12 million payment in the 4th year, that's what your qualifying offer goes. And then if you make a qualifying offer for 1 year to retain the rights to negotiate with Boeser at the end of this 4-year deal, but that qualifying offer is 100% of the 4th year of the contract, then that qualifying offer is going to be between $10 and $12 million a year. And now over 5 years, he's making $8.5 million average, as opposed to that $7 million. If you follow that math, I've talked about that a few times here. Maybe that's the issue. Who knows? I don't know what the issue is. I'm just asking you, Canucks fans, what do you think the issue is, and maybe are you worried? So here's my 2 answers. I don't know what the issue is. I'm guessing it's money and not term, but that's just my guess. But number 2, I'm not worried about it because of all the things I talked about and that come to light with the fact that his father is failing in health. So I leave that with you, Canucks fans. Something I'm all about. Are you worried about the contract situation with Brock Boeser? Do you have more sympathy for him because of the what he's dealing with, or do you separate the personal from the professional? And are you really just concentrating on why isn't this contract done yet? And if not, is it the term, is it the money, or is it a bit of both? So lots to talk about. I don't think I wouldn't call you insensitive if you think that it's all business, that we should worry about the business. I wouldn't also call you, a bleeding hearts club if you said, no, let's not worry about the contract. Let's make sure that he's there with his dad. And that's more important right now. That's kind of like actually admittedly the camp that I fall into, as you can probably tell from this video. So leave a comment below. I love to read, react, and reply as always. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Enjoy the day. This rainy, muggy day. God bless, and go Canucks go.